Hi Abhimanyu, welcome to this special session. Today we are going to talk about the Mindspace REIT. Before we start with this particular issue, could you explain us what is a REIT?
Sure. Thanks a lot, Saurabh. Let me just go about, the overall structure of this REIT. So if you look at it, today REITs globally have a market cap of close to around $2 trillion US. So that means that which is equal to close to 60% of global real estate market cap. So it is a structure which is very big globally, and in India there will be more than 500 million square feet of place, which could be REITable. So there is a very big opportunity in this particular industry. As of now in India, there's only one real estate company, Embassy REIT, which has close to around 26 million square feet, which is currently has a listed REIT. So Mindspace is a next REIT which is coming up for an issue on Monday. Let me just talk a little bit more about, to give you a flavor of what exactly is a REIT. So very simply, from an investor angle, you will get a regular and growing cash yield on your investment when you do in a REIT, and you will see an increasing property appreciation over the long term. How this structure of REIT is defined is that there is one sponsor or the key investor of a particular REIT. So what he does is he puts in the money. There is a manager who manages that particular REIT, and that particular REIT is the holding company through which, under various SPVs, you have all these different kind of assets which ultimately hold these commercial property structures. Now, commercial property would be the largest part of any REIT, because 80% of whatever investments are done by a REIT, they need to be done in rent-yielding assets. There's obviously a trustee who is there to take care of the benefits of the unit holders. In fact, if there's some property which the sponsor has, and now that has to be bought over by the REIT, because the REIT typically have the first right of refusal over those assets. In that scenario, it is only the minority shareholders who can vote on that. One critical thing in REIT is that minimum 90% of distributable cash flow has to be distributed semi-annually, which is quarterly, to the investors, which make it very attractive for everyone who wants regular flow of income. These are some of the important things that one needs to look at when looking at a REIT.
Okay. Thank you. You mentioned that this is a second REIT issue. We already have Embassy REIT. So what are the differences between these two issues, and which is more attractive?
So look at it this way. Clearly, I think so the markets that they are in, there's a difference in terms of that. Mindspace is more in case of Mumbai, Hyderabad, and Pune, whereas Embassy is largely focused on the Bangalore market. One key difference from an investor angle in these two is the taxation element. Now, as 90% of the money has to be distributed, then how does the distribution happen? Now, in case of Embassy, what's happening is that the interest component is close to around 46% of the overall number, whereas in case of the Mindspace, that number is just 7%. So what essentially means is that on 46% of whatever money you get back, you will pay 25 to 35% tax in case of Embassy, whereas in case of your Mindspace, you will just pay on that 7% only, that 25 to 35% tax.
Okay.
So 93% of whatever money you get is in form of dividend income. And dividend income is exempt in a REIT for all kind of investors, that is the FI, mutual fund, domestic institution, individuals, everywhere it is exempt. So only so that is something which is very good for someone to look at. So there is typically a withholding tax of 10% on interest. So that will be only on 7% in case of Mindspace relative to Embassy. So if I look at the overall yield perspective, clearly we find that the yield will be quite attractive in case of Embassy. So we think so that the yield in case of Embassy would be close to around 7.5%. Whereas in case of Mindspace it will be 7.5%, and in case of Embassy, though the headline yield will be around 7.4%, but since the tax element is there, the yield in Embassy goes down to 6.2, whereas in case of Mindspace it will continue at 7.3, assuming a 35% tax rate. So really, it seems to me that Mindspace is going to benefit a lot because it has a very simplified structure, and there are some technical reasons why Embassy right now cannot give back in form of a dividend relative to Mindspace. And for that reason, the yield in Mindspace is quite attractive.
Oh, that's interesting. But there is a question. I mean, with the COVID situation is prompting a large, IT companies and multinational companies to move most of their workforce to work from home. Like, for example, TCS said that they're planning to move 75% of their employees to work from home. Is that not going to affect the rental market?
So, to be honest with you, let me just first talk about some of the key things which one needs to look at. They're both sides of the story. So yes, there is an impact which will happen in terms of overall sentiment, where people are talking about that, in commercial you could see a 15-20% drop in rental. But the thing is that, in case of Mindspace, only they have had 2-3% of collection issues of the overall number after COVID, which is not the case that you would expect going forward as well. Because as we see that COVID-related challenges are taken care of, the collection is likely to improve further. Second reason is that, typically I was using X amount of space in an office earlier. Now I would need at least 2x of space because of social distancing norms that most of the corporates are adopting because of COVID-19. And because of that, the demand for the space doesn't come down just because, people want to, feel that real estate is not required. In fact, what happens in IT companies is because of security challenges, it's not that easy that you get all your workforce working from home, because, there are some critical projects which needs a physical network security as well, which is not possible when you're doing it from your home relative to your office premises. So from that perspective, I don't think so that's the case. And since there's a large amount of investment which happens in furniture, fixtures and other things, in case when someone takes a lease, I don't think so just for a 10% change in, rent, someone is going to leave a particular property that they are staying in. In addition, in case of this company, they have an upside opportunity in terms of, lot of their properties where their rates are lower than the market. And since those properties are coming up for renewal, there could be some upside in the rents relative to what the number is right now. So I think so we don't need to be worried too much about COVID from long term for investors who are looking at buying this good quality asset.
Oh, okay. Great. Now my next question is, who should be investing in this issue?
See, so first of all, let's understand the overall size of the issue. The size of the issue is close to around 16,000. The size of the issue is close to 4,500 crores, out of which there will be a fresh issue of 1,000 crores and 3,500 crores of offer for sale. Now, so for people who typically are at a higher income tax bracket, this is a very good product in lieu of a normal investment in a debt mutual fund, because typically yield in the debt mutual fund has post-tax to around 5% or even lower in some case. So from that perspective, it looks quite attractive to us going forward, that this particular product will do pretty well, because for people who want a regular income on a quarterly basis, the returns are quite superior. So anyone who is looking at a debt allocation or anyone who has a high income tax, those are the kind of people who would be interested in investing in this particular REIT.
Okay. If somebody wants to apply for this issue, what should they do?
Sorry, I didn't.
How to apply for the issue?
So you just need to contact one of your IFL RMs, and we'll help you out with all the paperwork and documentation which is required. So since this is a ASBA related issue and it is not available through UPI, so please make sure that you contact your RM in time to take benefit and invest in this particular issue. And we have seen a lot of the large institutions, global guys already investing in the issue. So I think that also gives a lot of confidence to us that this issue is going to do pretty well going forward.
Okay. Thank you, Abhimanyu. But this is a very interesting issue, and thanks for all your guidance. Thank you very much.